Hey guys, so I came across this rhythm on YouTube and I think it would be really helpful for you guys to kind of break down just everything that's on the page here. So let's take a look at the time signature 2/4. So all of these measures have 2 beats in them, and then same for down here. The first thing I actually want to look at isn't the first beat, but I actually want to look at this grouping right here. Because it has 2 beams, it's called 4/16 notes. Each one of these is a 16th note. And together, this entire grouping gets 1 beat. Different ways you can say it, if you use fruit, are watermelon. You could also use the old-fashioned rhythm words of ticka ticka, and you could also count it. So given that this is the second beat of the measure, you would say 2 E and a. So similarly, this one here is also 2 E and a. This one is also 2 E and a. This one here, since it's on the first beat of the measure, because see, this is where the bar line begins, this would be 1 E and a. And then this one similarly would be 1 E and a. So the reason why I was introducing this is to talk about this. So this, well, since we know this gets 1 beat total, and we know that 2 minus 1 is 1. So whatever this is here has to get 1 total beat. Now, this right here is the only thing that resembles this. See how this has 2 beams right here? This also has 2 beams. So this note right here is 1/16 note. So since this is at the end of the grouping, and if you remember back when we spoke this rhythm, we said 2 E and a, or the letter A. So the last thing we said here is a. So what we're going to say here is as well is a. And then of course, since this is the first beat of the measure, we're going to say 1. So that leads us to, okay, well, it looks like an 8th note and there's a dot. So what happens? This is equivalent or equals 3/16 notes. So it's as if you took these 3/16 notes and mashed them together, or in music terms, you tied them together, literally taking a line and connecting them, and you make this. So what this really is 1 E and a. 1 E and a. This one is also 1 E and a. So what we would say is sh and 2 and 1, 2 E and 1, 2 E and 1, 2 E and 1. And then B2 is the rest. So let's just say the first line together. I'm going to start tapping, snapping a beat, and we're going to say the counts. 1, 2, ready, go. And 2 and 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 E and a 1. And what makes this easier is that measures 2, 3, and 4 are all the same thing. So let's try it again just a little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. And 2 and 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 E and a 1, 2 E and a 1. Now keep in mind that as you held this out, this is equivalent, like we said before, to 3/16 notes. So let's air tongue this together. So that way it's actually as if we were to apply it to our instrument. If you have your instrument out right now, skip the air tonguing part and just pick a note that you enjoy playing, and we'll play this together. But I'll air tongue it. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, now just looking down here real quick, this measure is the same. I know this is like a little wider, but don't let that fool you. It's all the same thing. So here we start with 4/16 notes. So we would say 1 E and a. Here, this is the very next thing. So we would say 2, regardless of what kind of note this is, since it's the beginning of the second beat. We say 2. Now here, this is flip-flopped from this. Whereas before we had the dotted eighth note followed by the 16th note, here we have the 16th note followed by the dotted eighth note. So this, like we just said, gets 2, but this note right here, the dotted eighth note, gets the remainder of the beat. So this is equivalent to taking these last 3 16th notes and tying them together. So here we would say to E, and trapped inside this E is E and to E and to E. And the same thing would happen here, to E. So if we say this together, starting here at measure 6, on the counts, 1, 2, ready, go, and 2, and 1 E and a 2 E, 1 E and a 2 E, 1 shh. All right, let's try it again a little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. And 2, and 1 E and a 2 E, 1 E and a 2 E, 1 shh. This quarter note here, you really want to make sure that you're sustaining it or holding it out for the full beat. So remember, 1 quarter note is equivalent to 4 16th notes. So in your head, you want to think ticka, ticka, but you're going to hold shh. So let's air, tongue, or play starting from measure 6. Air, tongue, or play if you have your instrument out, or even just your head joint, or whichever. All right, 1, 2, ready, go.